Let's go to a team that we were high on going into last year. And I'm going to say this right now. I love our Jimmys and Joes. I love each and every one of you. If you're listening to my voice right now, know that I love you and I respect you and I think you're amazing. And I hope that you stay as long as we have this podcast. I think you got your Arizona teams confused, some of you, when you were making these rankings, because I'm just not sure how Arizona got all the way up to number 7 in these rankings with the season that they had last year. I mean, it's right there on the graphic if you're watching on YouTube. 4-8 overall, 2-7 in conference play, and that was with Teteroa McMillan at wideout, and now he's gone. He's the best wide receiver in Arizona history. He's now gone, and they have to try to replace him. I don't see it. You did deeper research on the Wildcats than I did. They finished 7th or higher, unless outside of such a massive miss like Arizona State was last year.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm willing to go that high. I did have Arizona lower on this list. I think I would have been comfortable talking about them in our first episode. No disrespect to Bear Down Nation, because I think this Arizona team actually has the chance to be really good. So let me paint the optimistic picture for you. If you listen to Brent Brennan talk at Big 12 Media Days, he talked about the timeline last year was so not ideal that it just set the whole program kind of on a track for disaster, right? He gets brought in late after Jed Fish goes up to Washington. He's got to figure out who is actually staying and who's transferring out. And it was a lot of guys that transferred out. So he had to make the most out of not a lot of pieces. He brought a lot of guys with him from San Jose State, and that gamble didn't necessarily pay off in the way that I think he was hoping to in year one. Noah Fifita also turned the ball over quite a bit last year. We did not get vintage Noah Fifita, certainly not the version of him that we saw in 2023. So what do? They bring in offensive coordinator Seth Dagey from Marshall, who just got done winning a conference championship in the Sun Belt from Texas Tech, former gunslinger at Texas Tech. So you know that this offense is going to be air raid style. We're going to be spreading the ball all over the yard. So Teteroa McMillan is out in Carolina now playing for the Panthers. Who's he throwing to? We got a number of talented kids that I think you're going to recognize their name. Chris Houston from Wazoo, leading receiver for Washington State last year. Luke Weissong. Talk about one of the guys from New Mexico that did not go to Utah. Weissong was one of their best gadget players last year, a kid that was incredible out of the slot. He's in Arizona now. And then you've got Ishmael Mahadi from Texas State, who is a 5'0" bowling ball of just belief and electricity. He's going to be leading the Arizona backfield. All of that joins Chris Hunter III, who I think really established himself as the next wide receiver one, even in the shadow of Teteroa McMillan. So there's a lot of all-purpose yards. There's a lot of explosion joining the team this year, I think, for Arizona. And that's reason to believe in the Wildcats for 2025. The defense, it's a new look defense. Outside of the secondary, who they did lose to Cario Davis to Washington, I do wonder where they're going to get improvement from. This was a defense that was pretty bad last year, 108th in scoring, 105th overall. So you could look at it one of two ways. The new faces are good, fresh blood, chance to wipe the slate clean and go again. The other side of that coin is no continuity. You're starting from scratch again. How do you find those improvements? So they do have a lot of experience, though, in the secondary. I mentioned Tacario Davis is gone, but they have Trident Stukes, who's back, 6th year on campus. Not one of the 8-year seniors on the all-geezer team from the Athletic, but he's getting close. Trey Smith is back after following Brennan from San Jose State last season. And then they bring in a transfer like Tia Sevilla from Texas, who will join the trenches. So there are some pieces to like on the defensive side. The defense is my main reason that I would have had Arizona a little bit lower on this list, but the offense in a league that loves to sling the rock is also the reason that I could see Jimmy's and Joe's saying, no, this is a dark horse contender.
I do love that Brent Brennan saw the issues on both sides of the ball and took action. Yeah. I think way too often coaches stand pat with their coordinators even after a bad year one. But Brent Brandon stepped in and said, no, like neither side of the ball was acceptable last year with the talent that we had. So yeah, I like the Seth Dagey hire. I think that that's going to be really fun. Probably maximize Noah Fafita's skill set a little bit more.
Sure.
Danny Gonzalez, former New Mexico head coach.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good hire as well. Obviously, New Mexico is a tough place to play, and he wasn't long for that job in Albuquerque. But yeah, I think that that's going to be can't really go anywhere but up based on what the defense was last year. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be something that they are as embarrassed by this season. Looking at their schedule as we transition into the over/under portion, yeah, 5.5 classic Big 12 over/under, and just to make it go even further, it's dead even -110 on the over and the under.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows, Vegas included, what this is going to be. So, yeah, they play New Mexico, ironically, in their opener. They have a non-conference game at Kansas State.
Wait, no, they played New Mexico last year in their opener. They opened with Hawaii this year.
I'm looking at the 2024 schedule. My
Yep.
apologies. They do open with Hawaii. Thank you. They do have another non-conference game against Kansas State this year. It's at home on a Friday night once again. So that'll be interesting, but not relevant to the conference standings. Then they open at Iowa State in the actual conference portion of the schedule, and they have close at Arizona State in the Territorial Cup. So they miss a couple of the bigger players. They don't play Kansas State in a conference game. They kind of get to dip their toe in the water with a contender right off the bat, but not have it hurt their conference record. They do play Baylor, but it's at home. They play Kansas at home. And their road games aren't too difficult other than Iowa State. They go to Houston. I think that's going to be a must-win for both of these teams. The winner is going to feel like they can make a bowl game. The loser's probably not going to make a bowl game. And then they also go to Cincinnati, who in another spot, probably just like that Houston game. 5.5 is a really good line, man. I look at the schedule and a little bit of the unknowns on both sides of the ball. I think I get to 5 and 7 when I'm doing the back of the napkin math here, but it could just be one or two bounces of the ball away from being back in bowl season.
Yeah, agreed. And to be able to come back to this episode this week of content, come late December and compare the results and get to see the finished product is truly going to be like we might have to do an episode on it because it's truly we're trying to paint by numbers and there are no numbers right now.
Right.
So that's fun as hosts and analysts. I think that 6 and 6 is the ceiling this year. I think that's the close could be really brutal. Kansas at Cincinnati, Baylor at Arizona State. Like you could talk me into 0 and 4 pretty easily there, depending on what the defense looks like. So I think this team's got to find a way to get rolling early. Obviously, you have to go 2 and 1 in non-conference play, and then it's going to come down to probably a bunch of shootouts, right? I mean, if Oklahoma State can get their offense up and running, it's probably going to come down to a shootout against the Pokes at home. You probably have to find a way to outgun Houston on the road, like you said. You're going to have to do it in Colorado at altitude, and those are the games that. Yeah, I pick Arizona probably against Colorado because I'm higher on their offense than I am the Buffs. But that's the coin flip. Like, all right, which offense do I think could score 55 in a heartbeat? Like, that's kind of my rubric at this point.